Most people don't realize that the first few seconds after you open your eyes in the morning set the tone for your entire day. Before you check your phone, before you remember your to-do list, before you even recall who you were yesterday, there's a fragile space, an opening, where your mind and energy are more impressionable than they'll be for the rest of the day. This is when you're most powerful, not because you're forcing anything, but because you haven't yet slipped back into the role of who you think you're supposed to be. In this quiet space, the stories you usually believe about what's possible fade away. Your nervous system hasn't kicked into its usual stress responses. Your brain is still open, lingering between dreaming and waking, more receptive to intention than at any other time. And yet, almost everyone misses this moment. They fall back into yesterday's rhythm without even noticing. They start sending out the same signals of lack, urgency, and self-doubt before their feet even hit the ground. This is why so many people feel like their lives are on repeat. Every morning, they unknowingly tell the universe the same story, and the field reflects it right back. But what if you did something different? What if you used this brief window of openness to send out a new signal, one that actually matches the reality you want? This isn't about pretending or putting on an act. It's about choosing, in those first moments of wakefulness, to align instead of scatter. To remember that you're not just reacting to reality, you're creating it. Today, I'll share 3 simple phrases that can change how you start your day. They're not affirmations in the way you might have used them before. They're not about forcing positivity or ignoring how you really feel. Instead, these phrases work because they combine 3 elements that both quantum physics and spiritual traditions agree are key to shaping reality: attention, emotion, and meaning. When you say them sincerely, especially in that delicate space between sleep and waking, you're not just speaking words, you're imprinting your energy with a clear, coherent signal. If you stay with me until the end, you'll understand how and why this works. You'll see that the universe isn't some distant force deciding your fate. It's a responsive field, shaped by the frequency you send out, especially in the moments when you're most open. Before we continue, I want you to try something that might feel uncomfortable at first. Every day, whether you realize it or not, you're already telling the universe what to reflect back to you. Your first thoughts, your initial emotions, the quality of your awareness as you wake up, all of it shapes the energetic blueprint for the hours ahead. If you don't consciously choose what to send, your subconscious will choose for you. And your subconscious doesn't care whether those patterns help or hold you back. It only knows repetition. This is why information alone doesn't change lives. Because until you shift the baseline signal you're transmitting, especially when your mind is most open, nothing truly new can take root. So as you hear these practices today, you don't have to believe anything blindly. You just need to be open to experimenting. To try, for just a week, what happens when you start your day by sending out something different. In the next part of this journey, I'll show you exactly why the moments right after you wake up are biologically and energetically unique. You'll see the science behind why your brain and nervous system are more receptive in this state, and how that openness can be used to align your energy with the life you truly want to live. Stay with me, because what you choose to say tomorrow morning might be the moment everything starts to change. If you've ever wondered why the first moments of your day feel so different, why your mind seems more open, your emotions more raw, it's because your biology is in a state most people never think to use deliberately. Right after you wake up, your brain is gradually shifting from delta and theta waves into alpha and eventually beta. In simpler terms, You're moving from the frequencies of deep sleep and dreaming into the more active, analytical states of daily life. But there's a critical window between these phases when your subconscious mind is highly receptive. In this state, your habitual thought patterns and emotional responses are temporarily muted. The neural circuits that usually fire automatically are less dominant, which means you have a rare chance to introduce new impressions before your old habits take over. Neuroscientists call this a period of heightened neuroplasticity, a time when your brain can rewire itself more easily. What you think, feel, and declare during this window doesn't just pass through your awareness. It imprints your nervous system and sets a baseline that shapes your perceptions, reactions, and choices all day. From a quantum perspective, this matters even more, because in those early moments, the electromagnetic field generated by your heart and brain is highly malleable. You're like a tuning fork that hasn't settled into any particular frequency yet. What you choose to feel and focus on becomes the first signal you send into the field. If that signal is coherence, a sense of gratitude, openness, and intention, your body and mind sync up. Your heart rhythm smooths out, your brain waves align, and you begin the day emitting a clear vibration that the field recognizes and reflects back to you. But if that signal is chaos, rushing thoughts, resentment about yesterday, anxiety about the day ahead, your nervous system falls back into survival mode. Your electromagnetic field becomes scattered, and you start sending out a mixed message of desire and fear before you've even gotten out of bed. This is why so many spiritual traditions emphasize morning rituals. It's not because this time of day is inherently magical. It's because your biology makes you more open to change before the momentum of habitual thinking fully kicks in. Ancient yogic teachings call this pre-dawn period Brahma Muhurta, the time of creation when the mind is naturally still and the boundary between the seen and unseen is thinnest. Modern neuroscience describes it as the ideal state for rewiring neural pathways. Quantum physics frames it as the moment your observer effect, the act of focused awareness, begins shaping potential realities into existence. Different languages, same truth. When you wake up, you're at a threshold. You can step forward with intention, or you can slip back into yesterday's inertia. This is why your first thoughts and words matter so much. They aren't random, they shape your day's experience. If you think about it, you've already felt this, even if you didn't have the words to explain it. Have you ever woken up after a night of worry and felt that heavy dread before even opening your eyes? That's your subconscious replaying the signal you fell asleep with. On the other hand, have you ever woken from a dream feeling inspired or at peace and noticed how that mood lingered into your day? That's proof the energy you start with carries momentum. The difference now is you don't have to leave it to chance. You don't have to hope you wake up in a good mood. You can choose to set the tone with intention. In the next part of this experience, you'll learn the first phrase to say to the universe each morning. A simple statement that resets your nervous system, quiets the mind, and signals to the field that you're open to alignment rather than resistance. You'll also discover how to pair this phrase with a specific breathing rhythm that boosts coherence in your heart and brain. Stay with me, because once you learn to use this window, you'll never again feel like your mornings just happen to you. You'll know they're an invitation to shape your reality every single day. Let's start with the first phrase, perhaps the most foundational of all three. It seems deceptively simple, but when you grasp its purpose, you'll see why it holds such power. I am open. These 3 words are not about convincing yourself to feel positive. They are about creating the most essential condition for any transformation: receptivity. Think about it for a moment. The universe, or the quantum field if you prefer, cannot deliver new possibilities to a mind and body already full of old conclusions. If your first thoughts each morning are, "I know how this day will go, I know who I am, I know what's possible and what isn't," you've already turned potential into limitation. I am open is a declaration that you're willing to pause your habitual certainty. It's an invitation to the field. Show me something new. Show me what I can't yet see. From a neurological perspective, this phrase begins to relax the default mode network, the part of your brain that maintains your familiar sense of self. When you say it sincerely, you create a small opening in the mental stories that usually rush in to define your reality. Physiologically, it has an instant calming effect. Instead of triggering your fight or flight response, it signals to your body that you're safe to explore, to receive, to allow. And from a quantum perspective, it does something even more profound. It shifts your awareness into a state of receiving rather than projecting. Instead of emitting a frantic "I need control," you start radiating curiosity and trust. This is why your tone matters. I am open isn't something you recite mechanically. It's something you embody. Here's how to practice it. 1. As soon as you wake up, before you check your phone or engage your thoughts, place a hand gently over your heart. Feel the warmth of your touch. 2. Take a slow, steady breath in through your nose, letting your belly expand. Hold it softly at the top, then exhale slowly through your mouth. Repeat twice more, letting each breath ease your awareness. 3. On the next inhale, whisper inwardly, "I am open." As you exhale, feel your body let go of any lingering tension. You don't need to feel instantly calm or enlightened, just willing to explore the day without predetermining who you're supposed to be. If you do this consistently, you might notice subtle changes, a deeper calm before your thoughts kick in, a sense of spaciousness in your awareness, as if you have more room to choose your response. Occasional flashes of insight that arrive unforced. These are signs your energy is beginning to reorganize. Here's a simple metaphor. Picture your consciousness as soil. If it's hardened by yesterday's stories and judgments, nothing new can grow. But the moment you declare "I am open," you loosen that soil. You make room for new seeds to take root. Some resist this practice, associating openness with vulnerability, as if it means becoming passive or naive. But openness isn't weakness. It is an act of strength to say, "I am open to being surprised. I am willing to trust that there is wisdom beyond my own plans." If you forget to practice as soon as you wake up, don't criticize yourself. You can do this anytime you notice you've slipped into rigidity. The field isn't measuring your perfection. It responds to your dominant state over time. In the next part of this experience, you'll discover the second phrase, a declaration that anchors your trust and begins to align your energy with the possibilities already waiting in the quantum field. Before we continue, I invite you to pause and sit with this question. What might happen if for the next 7 days you began every morning with nothing but this phrase and a single breath? Stay with me, because what you're learning here isn't just another motivational trick. It's a simple practice to remind yourself that the energy you emit isn't just a reaction to circumstances, it's a choice you make, moment by moment. Now that you grasp the power of starting your day with openness, let's move to the second phrase, a declaration that builds trust and steadiness in your field. The second phrase is "I am supported." These three words carry a resonance that's both scientific and spiritual. From a biological standpoint, your nervous system constantly scans for signs of safety or threat. When you wake up and immediately focus on everything you need to fix, solve, or protect, you trigger a flood of stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, norepinephrine. Your heart rhythm turns erratic. Your brain shifts into a beta-dominant state, meant for problem solving, not creativity or receptivity. But when you declare "I am supported," especially in the first moments of your day, you train your body towards safety. You move from the chemistry of vigilance to the chemistry of openness. In other words, you're telling your body and mind that you don't have to handle everything alone, that there's an intelligence, a field, or a deeper part of your own awareness ready to work with you. From a quantum perspective, this matters deeply, because the field responds not to your words, but to the feeling you generate. When you embody trust, even slightly, you emit a coherent frequency that organizes possibilities differently than fear does. This is why trying to manifest from desperation often backfires. If the underlying signal is "I am alone," no amount of forced positivity will override it. When you wake up and softly declare "I am supported," you ease the tension keeping you stuck in survival mode. You create an energetic permission slip to receive guidance, resources, and synchronicities. Here's how to practice it. 1. After saying "I am open," keep your hand over your heart or resting on your belly. Feel your breath. 2. Take a slow inhale and silently say, "I am supported." 3. As you exhale, release any tension in your shoulders, jaw, or chest, even just 5%. 4. If your mind resists, say, "But I don't feel supported." Notice that reaction gently. You don't have to believe it instantly. Just keep breathing and allow a small opening for the possibility of support, whether you see it yet or not. This simple act begins rewiring the neural pathways linked to chronic stress. Over time, your body learns to recognize trust as familiar, not foreign. When you combine this phrase with the first, something shifts. You move from just being open to also feeling held, from curiosity alone to curiosity rooted in safety. This combination creates what neuroscientists call psychophysiological coherence, a state where your heart rhythm, brain waves, and nervous system sync up. In this state, your electromagnetic field becomes more ordered and powerful. Remember, the field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to who you are being. And when you embody the feeling of being supported, you naturally attract experiences that match that energy. Let me share a quick story to illustrate this. A woman I worked with began this morning ritual during a time of deep uncertainty. Every morning, she'd wake up dreading her finances and future. When she started using these phrases, she didn't feel instant relief, but she committed to consistency over perfection. Within weeks, she noticed subtle shifts. She breathed easier, reacted less to challenges, and one morning felt unexpected clarity about a step she'd been avoiding. That small moment of alignment led to decisions that transformed her situation, not because she forced change, but because she became a clearer signal. You don't have to feel fully supported right away. You only need to be willing to consider the possibility. That willingness softens the field and invites new realities. Before we move to the third phrase, I invite you to mark this moment. Claiming your intention, even in a simple comment, strengthens your signal. If this resonates, if part of you is ready to try a new way of starting your day, declare it below. Write, "I am aligned." These words aren't just a statement, they're a declaration to your mind, body, and the field that you're choosing to move beyond survival into coherence. In the next part, we'll explore the third phrase, a simple declaration that activates your creative energy and signals your readiness to collaborate with the universe. Stay present, because once you integrate all three, you'll have a morning ritual that doesn't just inspire you, it recalibrates your entire field. The third phrase completes the sequence. While the first two set the tone of openness and trust, the third introduces action, an invitation to co-create your reality. That phrase is, "I am ready." At first glance, it may seem too simple, but don't underestimate it. Readiness isn't the same as desire. Many people want change, but they aren't truly open to receiving it. They hold hidden agreements with the familiar. I want something new, but I refuse to let go of my identity as someone who struggles. I am ready is a declaration that you're willing to release old stories, to surrender the comfort of certainty, even when that certainty has been painful. From a neuroscience perspective, readiness alerts your reticular activating system, the filter in your brain that decides what you notice. When you say, "I am ready," you train your awareness to seek signs that new possibilities are unfolding. From a physiological standpoint, this phrase shifts your chemistry out of passivity. It gently sparks the energy of engagement without pushing you into urgency. And from a quantum perspective, readiness is the frequency of receptivity meeting intention. It's the moment you stop just imagining what could be and start aligning with the version of you already living it. Here's how to practice it. 1. After saying, "I am open and I am supported," keep your hand over your heart or resting lightly at your side. Take a slow, steady breath in. As you exhale, silently say, "I am ready." 3. With each breath, sink into the meaning of those words, not as a performance, but as a quiet truth. You don't need to feel fully prepared, only willing. When you weave this phrase into your morning ritual, you complete the arc. I am open sparks curiosity. I am supported builds trust. I am ready solidifies commitment. This sequence moves you from wanting into allowing and embodying. But to make this practice work, avoid these common mistakes. Mistake 1, rushing through the phrases mechanically. If you recite the words mindlessly, your nervous system won't register a shift. Slow down, pause between each phrase. Let yourself feel even a slight change. Mistake 2, treating the ritual as a test. If you think, "If I say these, the universe must give me exactly what I want," you're adding hidden control. The field responds to alignment, not demands. Mistake 3, expecting instant euphoria. Sometimes you'll feel immediate relief. Other times the shift is subtle. A quiet ease in your breath, a sense of space. Trust that even small changes matter. Mistake 4, turning it into an obligation. If this becomes just another task, it loses power. These phrases are invitations, not chores. Mistake 5, underestimating repetition. You might think, this is too simple to work, but simplicity holds power. Consistency builds new neural pathways and steadies your energy. If resistance arises, return to the core. You're not saying these words to convince yourself of a lie. You're reminding your body, mind, and energy that another way is possible. Think of it like tuning an instrument. The first adjustment may still leave the sound unsteady, but with each repetition, the resonance grows clearer. Over time, your energy becomes a steadier broadcast of openness, trust, and readiness. Before we wrap up, I want to offer a perspective. These 3 phrases aren't a ritual you perform for the universe. They're a ritual you share with the universe, a dialogue with the field that holds every possible version of you. When you start your mornings this way consistently, you'll begin to notice subtle but undeniable signs. You handle challenges with more ease. You catch insights and synchronicities you might have missed before. You feel less attached to outcomes. You experience flashes of clarity that seem like the universe murmuring, "Yes, keep going." In the next part of this journey, I'll walk you through a brief practice weaving all 3 phrases into a single morning ritual, done in under 2 minutes. Stay present, because integration is where transformation takes root, not as an idea, but as a lived reality you carry into each day. Now that you understand the purpose behind each phrase and how they work together to shift your state, let's bring them into one simple practice. This ritual doesn't demand waking up an hour early or long meditation sessions. You won't need any special tools, just the willingness to begin your day with conscious intent instead of autopilot. Here's how it works. When you first wake up, before checking your phone or diving into thoughts, pause and feel the quiet space between sleep and waking. There's no need to rush, no need to do anything. Just notice your mind is still calm, your body relaxed, your awareness more open than it'll be later. Step 1. The breath of presence. Place one hand lightly over your heart or on your belly. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Inhale slowly through your nose, feeling your belly expand. Hold the breath briefly. Exhale through your mouth, letting tension melt away. Repeat 2 more times, each exhale slightly longer than the inhale. Step 2. The 3 phrases on your next inhale. Whisper inwardly, "I am open." As you exhale, feel your body unwind. Inhale again and silently say, "I am supported." Exhale, imagining trust warming your chest. One more inhale, "I am ready." Exhale, releasing any lingering tightness. Let your awareness rest in quiet receptivity. Step 3. The moment of integration. Pause here for a few breaths. No thinking required, no visuals needed. Just sense what it's like to start your day as a clear signal, not a scattered reaction. If your mind races ahead to plans or worries, gently tell yourself, "There's time for all that. Right now, I'm tuning my frequency." The whole practice takes less than 2 minutes. And yet, if you do it consistently, you'll begin to notice a profound difference. You'll feel less urgency to control every detail of your day. You'll become more aware of opportunities that align with your intention. You'll react less to circumstances that once triggered you. Because coherence isn't an act, it's a signal. And when your signal is clear, the field responds in ways you can't predict, but will instantly recognize. Before you go, I want to remind you of something simple yet powerful. You're not here to force your reality into submission. You're here to work with it. Every morning you have a choice: to repeat the same stories and send out the same frequency, or to be intentional about what you put into the world. This practice isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. It's about remembering over and over that you are the instrument through which the universe experiences itself. If you sensed even a slight shift in how you view your mornings, if something in you feels drawn to explore this further, I'd love for you to stay connected with this community. Subscribing to this channel isn't about filling your mind with more information. It's about joining a space where science, spirituality, and the art of living in harmony meet. A space where you don't have to pretend. Here we explore what it means to be a clear signal in a chaotic world. To live with intention, trust, and the quiet courage to release what no longer serves you. If that resonates, you can subscribe now and know that every time you return, you're reinforcing this frequency within yourself. One breath, one morning, one quiet step at a time. Thank you for sharing this moment, for being open to a different way of starting your day. Stay present, stay curious, and never forget, the universe is listening. What will you choose to say?